us work on a fiction writing. Now, whenever we are working on fiction writing, it is always important that we, what is fiction rather? Let us first understand that a fiction is something which is not real, okay, which a writer uses their imagination and then they work on that story or whatever thing that you are going to write about, okay. It can be poem also. So many people, what they do is they get inspiration from, from maybe the life stories of real life stories. There are many people who want to who have those different ideas in their mind, but they don't know how to work on it, okay. So these are the different types of ways that you can work on your fiction story. Now, whenever you're talking about a real life story, so people always say, no, how can a real life story be a fiction? Okay. Whenever you are including some different types of situations, characters, which have really not happened in that real life, okay, then it becomes a fiction. But whenever you are writing about the whole real life as it is, okay, of a person, that time it might be a autobiography or a biography, okay. Now let us work on our writing prompts, okay. Now whenever we are working on writing prompt is basically where whenever you are talking about any situation, any scene, okay. So now here you give a detailed out version of that situation, that place or the scene, okay. Now for example, if you are walking, say maybe you are walking on the beach, okay. So now there is sand, there is water. So here you will say that the water is touching my feet and my feet are feeling a tinkling sensation, okay. So now that is where you are describing, or maybe you're describing the scene there, the sun is setting and I'm walking on the beach with a tinkling sensation on my under my feet as the water is brushing down my feet, something like that, okay. So now that is where you are talking about, these are called as writing prompts, where you give the feeling of how the place is, how the situation is, and you talk about the feelings that the characters are having, okay. So that basically is your feeling, okay. So now basically that is what is your writing prompt, okay, where you basically focus on how the place is, how the character is, how the situation is. You give out the detailed version of whatever is happening. Now suppose if the characters are having a conversation, okay. So now where the dialogues are there and how they are speaking those dialogues, how are they, what is the tone of their voice, are they happy, angry, sad, okay. Are they moving their eyes, are they moving their hands, okay. So that is where you are giving out each and every detail of how that conversation is happening, or maybe the situation or the place where they're sitting. If they're sitting in a restaurant, so how the restaurant is, okay. If they are sitting in a luxurious hotel, so how that place is, okay. So that is where you need to describe about each and everything that is happening in the scene, okay. So these questions, what is the place, okay, why is the place cold and empty, what was happened to here to make it so, what is the overall feel there. Now suppose there is a situation where a war has recently finished, okay. Now how the ground looks like, okay. I don't know how many of you might know, when there was a war, Kurukshetra ki jab jang ladi gayi, that time it was said, and till now also they say that the soil there is still red because of the blood of the warriors there, okay. Though all people, because lakhs of people died, okay. The Indian population was almost made less than half after that war, okay, because it's such a huge war it was. So they still say that the soil there is still red because of the blood of the warriors, of the people who fought there, okay. So now that is what you will describe about it, Okay, why did this happen? How did this happen? So that is where people can relate to it. Okay, you will talk about each and everything. You will use descriptive style of writing. That is what will help the audience or readers to understand, to get connected with that place, that situation, that character, or the overall scenario. Okay, clear for everyone? Now, there are different types of writing prompts here. So first thing is your creative writing. Okay, creative writing is where you use, say those, you use words, adjectives, synonyms. Okay, where people can actually imagine what is happening. So, for example, you will use personification, you will use symbolism, you will use rhetorical devices that we discussed. This onomatopoeia, then anaphora, assonance. Remember Goldilocks approach. So those are all your creative part of the writing. Clear? Okay. Then you will use non-fiction type of prompts. Okay. So these non-fiction is something where, you know, you will talk about, say, a character. Maybe the character is, you know, is like a superhero. Okay. So they have got different powers are there. They have a different, you know, intimidating personality. So all these things where you are talking about, say, the person's or the place reality. Okay. So where people feel that, okay, this is real, this is what I can connect to. Okay, so you try to, yes, it is not true. If you're talking about superheroes, it is really not true. Okay, but if you're including that in your story and you're giving that realism to them, they feel that it is a non-fictional type of personality or the setting. Okay, if by chance you are including some historical information, okay, so that is what I told you, Kurukshetra war. Okay, so you're talking about the historical information, then you need to get lots of you need to do a lot of research to get it, to get that information. Okay, so so that you are providing exact thing what has happened. I told you in the last class also, books by Amish Tripathi. Okay, his books, the things that he has used in his books is from the Sanatan history. Okay, like Shivji, he's taken the story of Shiv and Sati. Okay, so Shivji and Satiji, I don't know how many of you know about it, but this is where this was the first wife of Shivji. Okay, Satiji was the first wife, where she was the daughter of Prajapati, the first man on earth. So but Prajapati was not very happy with this marriage. So to insult Shivji, he organizes a very huge yag. Okay, and he doesn't invite Shivji there. So Sati ji gets very, very disturbed and very, very angry with her father, and she goes there to that yag, and she confronts her father, and father insults Shivji a lot, and then she becomes very angry, and then she burns herself in the fire. Okay, and then Shivji gets very angry. Then he does that Nataraj dance whenever he's angry, and the earth is now is in a very bad condition because the god of destruction is now angry. Everywhere destruction is there. Okay, so that is the whole story. So now what Amish Tripathi has done, he's taken this concept. Okay, and he's used this concept and given it a bit of modern, not very modern, not like where we are using these phones and all. Okay, but the kings and queens type of modernism. Okay, so he's used this concept of Shivji and Satiji. The same characters are there, where Satiji's father is not happy with this union. Okay, all these things are there, but he has used this concept in a totally different avatar. Okay, so that is your non-fiction, but somewhere there are a lot of non-fiction involved there. Okay, where people can easily understand, okay, this is a story about Shivji and Satiji. Okay, so the Prajapati is the father of though the names have changed for Prajapati, they've used a synonym name there. But people can understand that because there are some information, some type of situations where you can relate to what happened in that history. Clear now for everyone? Then you have poetry. So poetry, obviously, you can, if you can talk about any type of this thing. Say you can talk about um, uh, say birds. You can talk about sky. You can talk about a pen. Also, you can get inspiration from anywhere for poems. Okay, so whenever there is a inspiration that you need from somewhere, you can get it from anywhere. Okay, as a writer, you really don't need to go and look search for inspiration. If you want to write, you can write for anything. Recently, my pet died. Okay, on 17th December, my pet expired, and I was obviously heartbroken. My whole family was very sad for that. So I came up with a poem for my pet. Okay, so same way, I was not well. I was suffering from corona in 2020, and then that time there was nothing to do in the house. Okay, I was just sitting in one room, closed room, nothing to do. What to do? How long will you be able to look at the phone? So I wrote a story. I wrote a poem on my on my Almira. So there is different types of ways from where you can get lots of inspiration from. Okay, I play games with my daughter, so I wrote a poem on that. So same way you can also do that, not a problem. Okay, then you have descriptive writing. So descriptive writing is where you give out vivid details, okay, and make sure that your audience can actually experience it. Okay, expository is where you remember, where we talk, where we explain each and everything of that concept or the topic, or maybe the situation there. Okay, so that is your expository writing. Then you have journal writing. Now journal writing is where I told you earlier also, you can maintain a journal. Okay, in the journal you can talk about whatever happened. Many people write journal in the morning, many people write journals in the night before sleeping. Okay, so where they talk about each and every thing that happened with them. So whenever you're writing journals in the night, you talk about your life, what happened during that day. People who write journals in the morning, they write about their feelings, about their thoughts. Okay, so whatever thoughts they have, or whatever, they will talk about some situation, some experience that they had, and some thoughts related to that. Okay, so that is what journal writing is. Then mystery writing is there. So mystery writing is where you will give different situations. Okay, and where the characters, the protagonist, have to understand what is happening there exactly. Okay, then one mystery is solved, it gives rise to another mystery, and so on. Okay, then gradually, finally, at the end, the bigger mystery, okay, that is solved. Okay, then you have narrative writing. Narrative writing is where you have different types of characters there. You use different point of views. You use a lot of say situations, scenarios are there. You use dialogues. Okay, that is your narrative writing. Short stories. Short stories we have already discussed. It is where you talk about mini stories. Okay, you have where you will discuss each and everything about what is happening, but these are in a form of short stories. Okay, then you have speculative writing. Speculative writing is where you ask questions. Agar aisa hota to kya hota? This is what the question is. Okay, what if? Okay, what if I had money to buy the whole house? Okay, so now what if I had taken this commerce instead of science? Okay, so this is what is your, now if you, even if whenever you talk about your previous, maybe the previous experiences that you had, so you must have talked about, what if I bought say Oppo instead of Samsung? Okay, or iPhone instead of Samsung phone? Okay, so that is where you are working on speculative writing. You ask questions. Agar aisa hota to kya hota? Okay, clear for everyone? Now when we talk about writing prompts for short stories. Okay, now short stories is where you need not have lots of, need not put basically lots of information. Okay, the short stories are very they are aligned. Okay, they are very clear in their nature. Okay, unnecessarily putting lots of information in your short stories is useless. Okay, because short stories main aim is to finish the stories within, say, within 1 hour or 2 hours. Okay, and if it is very short, if it is 500,000 words, 1,500 words, so like within 20 minutes, 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Okay, so all your magazines, if you have read, there are different types of magazines that they use stories there. Okay, that time those stories are all 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 words. Okay, you will get a collection of books, collection of stories in those books for kids. Okay, these books are there. So those things are also your very, very short stories where you cannot keep the things very complex. Okay, try to use a very normal story. Okay, you can use a bit of twist and turns there, okay, wherever required, to give some some interest in the story, or to give some color in the story. You can do that, but try to keep it as simple as you can. Okay, so that is where, and from where you can get inspiration is from your daily life. That is the best thing for short stories. Okay, you have heard someone's experience, okay, or maybe you had an experience. Okay, one of my house help, she was it was when I was in Vishakhapatnam. So that time she was from Bangladesh. Okay, and she told me a story that her great grandmother came to Bangladesh. She ran off from her house. Okay, her with her kids, and because her husband was. This is what she told me. Her husband was not good. He used to beat her and something. So she ran off and she came to India. Okay, with her kids, and then slowly, gradually, they built up their family here in India. And she was when she was 9 years old, she was sold to a person in Bengal. Okay, to a person, I don't remember the name or the religion, anything. Okay, and she was Hindu that time. Okay, because she was a Hindu person, and then somehow she got saved. She ran off from that place, and that person used to beat her and everything. And then finally, when she got married, she became a Christian after that. So she used to work for me, and she was telling me whole story, all the things that had happened. So this is one of the thing. That time I never thought about writing about such type of incident. Okay, but now if I remember that story, I feel like writing about it. I feel like writing maybe a poem on it, or maybe a short story on this. Okay, so these are the different types of situations where you can write a novel also. Okay, but these are the different types of situations. These are the inspiration that you can get from for writing short stories. Your daily life, or maybe the people around you are giving you such type of information, such type of life experiences that they're sharing with you. You can definitely use them and write some short stories on that. Okay, clear for everyone? Okay, now novels and writing prompts. Okay, whenever you're working on playwriting. Now, playwriting, see, it is very, some people think that it is very easy to write for plays. Okay, now, when we talk about writing for plays, you need to understand with what expression, with what feelings are the characters in your play are going to act on. Okay, that is very important. So the way that their pitch will be modulated, their voice modulation is there, then how they are going to move their hands, how they are going to stand there, everything is very, very important. Okay, now these scripts, or the playwriting, or the stories that you write, they are the backbone of a director's direction. Using that particular information, they are going to direct that particular play or the skit. Okay, so now I remember when we were in school. Okay, we had this mime competition. You know what is mime? Where you don't talk, you just do everything with your actions. Yeah, now we had this mime competition, and our school came second. And where we, our teacher, in the initial period, our teacher just asked us to do different types of situations. She just told us a story, and she told, you are this, you are this, you are this, you're supposed to do this, and then you do it. Okay, this became very confusing for us. Okay, then what she did is she wrote the whole play. Okay, use talking about, now in that no dialogues were there, but the way that she has written, I actually feel that I should have that copy with me right now also. But it was school, and now you don't, that time you never used to care all these about all these things. So now in that, she talked about each and every character, and what actions, what type of actions are you supposed to use. If you cannot speak, but this is the dialogue during this time, If it would have been a play, then you should have spoken this dialogue, but now you have to act on it. Okay, so each and every detail she wrote out, and it became very easy for us to understand. Okay, and the props that we used, the lightings that we used, it was according to the script. Everything was according to the script. Where were we supposed to stand? Where were we supposed to move? How many steps? She actually counted the steps. I had one scene where I'm supposed to walk 5 steps ahead. Okay, and that is where the spotlight was supposed to switch on when I come to that place. Okay, now spotlight cannot move. It is now that it is there now. So she counted the steps according to my steps, how much step that I take. She counted my steps and she told me that Shivalika, only 5 steps. Okay, and you have to be here. Okay, so that is what is, how that is how people work on play. Everything is dependent on your script. Okay, clear for everyone? And whenever you're working on a novel, you need to, you can get inspiration. You have different ideas. Many people are very creative. They have different ideas. I'm not at all creative. I need to gather information from different places to come up with an idea. So any idea just do not come up in my mind. Just do not pop up like this. Okay, so I'm not at all a creative person. But yes, if someone tells me or say I hear something, so I can use it and write something out of that. Okay, but as such, I never get any idea. So but there are many people who are very very creative. You can also get whatever ideas that you have in your mind, you can use them and you can create different stories there. Okay, for your novel you can definitely start with short stories. If you are not very very confident, start writing short stories, and then you can go ahead with the longer stories. Okay, people do that also at the same time. Okay, now you have for creative nonfiction and memoir. This is where you will get lots of information from that particular person if you're writing about someone else. Okay, you now for them you will be starting from their from the life that they were living and to what they are today. Okay, so that is what is your biography. Okay, and what all things they have achieved or they have lost. So recently I think there is someone who's going to write a biography on our president Draupadi Murmu. Okay, because I think she's lost a lot during her journey. Okay, she has been a tribal woman. She's lost her, I think, 2 to 3 kids also. She's left with one daughter right now. This is what I read when she became the president. That time I read about her, and now someone is going to write in what all things did she achieve, what all things did she lose in her journey till now. Okay, so it is a very very interesting thing that even I'm looking forward to read. So that is what is that is how you can work on your biographies. If you're writing something about yourself, okay, maybe you want to write a story from your own experience, so that time you can definitely work on you can take an example from your, say, from your life, from your childhood memory, or maybe that is what I told you from my school. I am telling you a memory of my childhood, so that is what you can work on it. Okay, maybe some of your colleague or your friend or your family member have had an experience or you want to talk about it. Like my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, she recently expired, and she in when she was around 32 years old, my grandfather expired. Okay, and she has to take care of 4 kids, so she had this journey, and she was 10th fail also. That time she didn't even clear her 10th class. Then after my grandfather expired, she cleared her 10th, 11th and 12th. Then my grandfather was a criminal lawyer. So now then she also studied law. She became a lawyer, and then she took care of all the 4 kids, got them married, and till now she was having a very very good life. She had no money problem, nothing was there. And my mom used to tell me that she used to work in the night also. She used to stitch clothes for other people as well. So this is what the life of a person is. So I wanted to write a story on her. That is what my this thing is, that I want to create a story on her, full novel about her life. So that is where non-fiction comes into play. Okay, so these are the different things that you can use while you're working on any non-fiction or biographies, or where you want to describe, say, some personality, or talking about some personality like Draupadi Murmu. I told you someone is writing biography on her, so you can work on that as well. Okay, clear for everyone? Now you have where you can talk about your own creativity. You can use your own creativity. That is what, if you have any ideas in your mind, use it. Okay, you can create stories out of it, you can create poems out of it, whatever you want, you can do it. Okay, maybe if there is a okay, one thing happened with me. I will also advise you to go and always follow that page. Okay, that page, that is Humans of Bombay. Okay, then there are colorful poems are there, where you can use lots of emotions. When we talk about colorful poems, it is all about emotions. Okay, where you can talk about, with any type of feeling or any type of thing that you're talking about, not just the color. Okay, so suppose if I'm talking about say, what example can I give you? Okay, I'm talking about plants. Okay, in my poem I'm talking about how plants make me feel. Okay, so maybe I have I'm talking about different plants. I'm talking about rose plant, I'm talking about sunflower, I'm talking about say lily plant. Okay, all these flowers, I'm talking about the flowers. So how these flowers can give me what type of feelings that I want, something like different colors are there, each color will give me some feeling. Okay, so if there are different things that you're talking about, how emotionally you get attached to them is what you can talk about it. That is what is your colorful poems. Okay, now you can use different types of your poems also. Whenever you have a kid, you might have a kid, you might have some different types of poems or songs to them, or say you have these kids have these rhymes also. Okay, so you can definitely write a poem or say a song or maybe a rhyme that you can use with your for your kids, or for your say maybe to get a smile in among your audience. Okay, so all these stage actors, these stage poets. Okay, so they have all these different types of poems. There is one more account that you should follow, Jade Torres. This person is there on Instagram. Should go and follow. You know the types of work that he writes. Okay, sometimes his work is a bit long. You need to have that passion to read his work. So I'll see like what he's written. I hope you learn to prioritize the people who bring you peace, the people who mirror the same length of love as you give others, the people who stand by your side, not in every moment, but rather in the moments that matter the most. The people who matter the most, the people who have the capacity to understand the very depths of your soul. I hope you will learn to prioritize the people who chose you. Okay, so this is what his writing is. Very, very nice. Very simple. See the words that he is used. Very simple words. Okay, so you can definitely start following this person, Jade Torres karke. He's there on Instagram. Okay, so these are the things that are going to help you a lot. Now next is your natural inspiration. Okay, natural inspiration is basically, you go and you saw these mountains, beautiful mountains, how the sun is shining on those mountains, and you want to write something about it. Maybe the sky is very, very bright today, very clear sky, and you feel like writing something about it. There is a landscape maybe where there's like something what is shown in the image here. So there is water, there is greenery there, beautiful it is. Okay, so you can write about it definitely. So those are your natural inspirations. Okay, now there is one word prompts. These are for the people who are very, very creative, especially people. I cannot write with one word. Okay, I need basically some information, or maybe something should be there which will help me to write something about it. Okay, so one word is for the people who are very, very creative. So if you just read a word and you feel like, oh my god, I want to write something about it. Okay, so that is where you can work on it. That those are called as one word prompts. Prompts are basically your inspirations. Okay, so where you just feel like, okay, if I need to write something. So there are many emotions. happy, sad, angry, sarcasm. So all these emotions are there. You can write something about it. Okay, something which some emotions, which some words which give you some emotions. Okay, you can write about those words also. Okay, now pollution is there. Delhi pollution is one of the worst. People, now many people have written poems, stories, short stories, their own experiences of Delhi pollution. Okay, so this is one word here. Okay, now you can talk about describing the villain. So I will not say describing the villain only, maybe describing any character, okay, or any person. Maybe that person, you don't like that person, okay, and you can write on that. Maybe you love that person, okay, you can write on that. Okay, maybe you have heard about their experience, okay, you can write on that also. So any type of person, or maybe you like someone, some actor or actress you like, okay, and you can write a story on them or a poem on them. Okay, so these can be any person that you want to write on, not just on the on a negative personality, but on any type of personality that you want to write about. So maybe some personality that inspires you. Okay, so maybe a political figure, or your own parents, or your maybe your partner, some person who inspires, your friend or something, who is come out from a very very difficult situation. So that is an inspiration, you can talk about that. Okay, then you have success. So there are, you might have achieved the success. Okay, so maybe you had this goal and you achieved this goal, so that is your success. Okay, so that is what you can write on that, the feeling that you had by when you achieved it. Okay, so maybe you want to be the wanted a first rank on this in this field, so you achieved it, and the feeling that you had once you achieved that success. Okay, so that is what is your success prompt that can help you. These are just examples of writing prompts which you can use. Okay, so there is nothing, it's not a rocket science basically. These are when we talk about writing prompts, it is more about getting inspiration from there. Okay, so if you're reading some about someone, if you're talking, you're listening to someone, they're talking about their life, how their life has maybe evolved or maybe changed. There's a dramatic change in their life due to some of the other reason. You can use those things in your story and create one. Okay, now there is another one is dog's life. Now dog's life is basically how dog look at the life. How do you think that the dogs, or any pets, not just the dog, any pet, so you have cat, or maybe you want to talk from the perspective of say a wild animal also. So how do they look at a life, and how as a human we look at the life. Okay, or maybe you can compare, suppose there is a pet and the owner, so how both of them are living the life, and how they're different their perspectives are. Okay, so that is one thing that you can do. A dancer on a stage is basically how these dancers, how these actors, actresses, they uses their expressions, their body language to to talk about whatever is happening in that particular say maybe dance or the drama or skit. Okay, so you can talk about that also. So lessons learned. So maybe there are different types of lessons that messages or lessons that we read on a daily basis. Okay, so you have lessons from your religious books also. You can pick up that lesson and you can create a story around it. Okay, then there are welcome home. Welcome home is basically you and your you have come from your college or from your office to your home, and you can create a story on that, or maybe an experience on that, or maybe your relatives or your brothers or sisters or friends have come. Okay, maybe you have gone somewhere to live, like something where they have said your best friend from college is looking for a new place to start. Write a letter explaining why she should move to your town. Okay, so if someone is coming to your town, so how do you want them to feel, like what is what is important. So these are few prompts that in the writing industry people use. These are not just for us, these are for everyone, every type of writer. Even the this if you have I don't know if you have done MA in English. Okay, they use all these type of MA and graduation in English language. They use all these prompts. Even in B.Ed, if you have done a course in B.Ed and you have taken English as a language, even they also give you all these type of things, which will include your language skills and also your writing skills. Okay, Then you have everyday heroes. There are different types of stories that we read on newspaper or we watch videos about them, that they have saved the lives of others. They have come just out of the blue and they have saved their lives. Maybe you had a very, very strange dream or some dream, that you felt very good, maybe. Okay. So take the negative and positive of everything, and you can create a story on that as well. Now you have mystery writing prompts. Mystery writing prompts, whenever you're writing a mystery, please make sure during such type of writing, your plot is very, very detailed. Okay, because in mystery there are few things that you are going to hide from the audience, few things that that you will talk about it later on, that hidden things which you have which you have hid from the audience, that you're going to talk about them maybe at the end, almost at the end of the story. So how you will take back your audience there. Okay, then there are different types of characters which are going to be involved. When did those characters will come, or when they will go out, everything you have to work on. Okay, so writing a mystery novel might be a lengthy process, but yes, you need to make sure that it is well researched. Okay, and you're writing a detailed plot, so that even while writing you don't get mixed up. Okay, so that is what things that you need to remember. Now there are few common things that are included when you're talking about the characters. Okay, so you have street smart detective. So there is one detective, the main protagonist maybe, who's very, very smart. Okay, then there is bent cop. Maybe that particular person is a one who is who's faking some evidences. Okay, who's not letting the detective look at the picture directly. So then there is mysterious guy. Mysterious guy is maybe the person who might be helping the detective or who might be helping the antagonist. Okay, that can also happen. So you can show that mysterious guy almost at the end. The scapegoat is, whenever you're watching some mystery type of movie or you're reading a novel, you will always feel yahi murderer hoga, yahi ye hoga, this must be the thief. This is what we feel. But at the end, someone else is there. Okay, so that is what is your scapegoat. Then the obvious suspect. Obvious suspect is whatever the detective is finding out. Okay, whatever the detective is trying. So there are small obstacles. So whatever the obstacles that detective is now coming out from. So all those clues, everything is going to pointing out to one person. Okay, then the unobvious suspect. So obviously the person who we never thought, who might be the most loving person in the whole story, that turns out to be the villain. Okay, so these are the things that you can include in your mystery novels. Okay, so these are the few writing prompts. The richest man on earth has been hidden a vault. Okay, and now it is, maybe he goes missing or his vault goes missing, and now it is up to the detective to find it out. Okay, then one by one random things keep on missing from the house. So what is happening there? So all those things are again a mystery. Okay, one of your classmates mysteriously stops coming to school, then you just get curious what happened. Maybe that person is your friend, or that person might be the most famous popular person in the school, and suddenly they stop coming. Okay, a police officer finds a dead body at a barber's shop in town. So how did that body came there, or and how who's that person, how did that person die? So all those things you can include there. A person takes a game of snakes and ladders too literally. In random locations around the city, snakes and ladders have been placed. Okay, now this person is a psycho, and now to see that people are actually playing this game in their real life, so he's placed snakes and ladders at different locations and have asked people to now whatever numbers that come on your dice, wherever you land up, the snakes will bite you if you're there on that snake wala square. If you're there on the ladder, then you will go up. Okay, otherwise there are different types of activities also that you can include where people die also. Okay, so these can be a mysterious or the gore movie types. Clear till now for everyone? So these are few writing prompts. Obviously these are just examples. You can use writing prompts from whatever from your from you can have your own creative juices flowing for. You can decide, okay, what all type of writing prompts you want, or maybe you have a mystery story in your mind and you want to write about, you can do that also. So these are not something which are very compulsory. These are just examples or just few writing prompts that you can use to create your maybe a short story, maybe a full novel also, not a problem. Okay.